Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about how to warp or puppet warp images. So I have two different images for you. If you click on these and make them large, you can drag them off onto your screen, which I've already done down here. You can drag these down to your screen, and I was able to move them down. And then you're going to download both images and get both images saved to your computer screen. And I'm going to show you how to work with both of them because they're both a little different. So I've already loaded our sock monkey in my program. I had one of these as a kid, so I guess I'm kind of partial to this image. And I'm going to start by first unlocking my image. Now, in order to manipulate this effectively, the best way to work with this is to cut out your sock monkey. So I'm going to get my magic wand tool because my background is white. I did that on purpose for you to make this easy. And you'll see it didn't do a great job. So I'm going to instead move to my object select. And I'm going to drag a box around here, and I'm hopeful that it'll grab it a little bit better. And I want to get my monkey isolated because what I need to do is I need to manipulate his limbs, and I want to move him without moving the background. So this is thinking that I did a much better job, but I'm going to go Q into quick mask mode real quick and just erase some of this where it missed his foot, which is fine. It doesn't have to be perfect for this activity. I really just want you to get the idea of how to use this tool. So this selection doesn't have to be the most beautiful thing you've ever done. I'm going to go Q to get back out of quick mask mode, and then I'm going to inverse my selection, and then I'm just going to delete that background and deselect. So now I've got him ready. I'm going to throw him up on a background of a solid color just so you guys can see him a little bit better, and throw him like that. And now we can see what we're doing. On my sock monkey layer 0, I am going to go to edit, puppet warp. Edit, puppet warp. This is very similar to Illustrator if you've done that in Illustrator. For this, what I'm going to do is while I'm using this tool and it looks like a little push pin, I'm going to click and add points of where I want him to move. So I want his hands and his feet to move. But then the other thing is I don't want him to move in certain places. So I'm going to lock pins up here at the top of his leg. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'll do one with and one without. Now that I have this pinned, I can move this. And you'll see that some of them is moving because I don't have everything pinned. Now with this one, if I move it, see how everything kind of moves with him a little bit more because there's no pin here. So I like to pin the places I don't want moved and I do want moved. So for example, I want this and I want the top of his head. So I want to move the top of his head, and I might want to bend his elbow here. So I'm going to put a pin in the elbow so that I have some kind of movement here. Oops. And I got to make sure I select the pin, and then I'm going to maybe have it look like he's running. So I'm going to move his legs. And then this way I can really kind of manipulate where this image is kind of locked in. So real simple, when I'm done, I'm just going to hit the check mark, and now my monkey has been moved. Now, the thing about puppet warp that you have to make sure you pay attention to, and I'm going to move my girl in here, is that little goes a long way. You don't want to make it look too out of the ordinary. So I'm going to unlock her. And again, I have to kind of cut her out first. Now, the reason I'm doing both of these images is because when you go to cut her out, and I'll show you what I mean, is her hand is touching her dress. Okay, I'm going to inverse, backspace, deselect. I'm going to go ahead and add another color behind her as well, so you guys can see. But what I need to do is I'm going to have to come in here and I'm going to have to break apart her hand in order to make this work. So I'm going to use a very small brush, and I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to skim part of her t-shirt away in a very even kind of look. And I've accidentally kind of gone into her hand, which is okay. So I'm going to come back in here. And the reason I'm doing this much and I'm not just doing a little break is if you don't have enough of a break, it won't work. And I'll show you what I mean. So image, puppet warp, and I'm going to pin her hand in here. And I want you just to see what happens. Let me pin her a little bit more. There we go. So this worked, okay? See how it moved away from her hand, so we're good to go, and she was able to move very effectively, okay? I'm gonna go back and do a history, and I'm gonna go back to where she's still connected, and I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna edit and puppet warp again, and I want you to see, oops, I gotta be on the right layer. I want you to see what happens if I try to puppet warp with her hand still connected. See, the whole thing moves, and you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure that you separate her out, this American doll girl. You want to separate her hand out, or else you're going to get a really distorted look, and nobody wants a distorted doll. So with these two, I'd like you to just to cut them out, and I want you to reconfigure their arms and their legs in order to be manipulated. Don't go crazy. It shouldn't take you very long, and hopefully you'll enjoy this activity. Okay? Thanks, everybody.